raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Certainly. Brent, B-R-E-N-T, Mulliken, M-O-E-L-L-E-K-E-N, M-D-F-A-C-S.
Great. Thank you.
Next up on the stand, the plaintiff's doctor. He's not here for drama, he's here for the details. The jury heard exactly what kind of procedure was done after the alleged assault, and more importantly, how much it cost. Numbers, treatment steps, and the bill. This testimony put a price tag on the claims.
Thank you. You may take a seat.
Here's how the doctor broke it down before cross-examination.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you all for coming back. Good morning, Dr. Mulliken.
Good morning.
Were you the treating doctor for Imani Ellis, who's sitting to my right here today?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you treat her for?
She had a scar on her left cheek.
Okay. And what is your current occupation?
I'm a plastic and reconstructive surgeon.
Are you board certified?
Yes.
For how many years have you been a plastic and reconstructive surgeon?
Since 1995.
We asked you to be here as an expert witness, correct?
Yes.
And a treating doctor?
Yes.
And in cases where you serve as a treating doctor, in cases that are litigated, you then can serve also as an expert witness?
Yes.
Okay. And what does an expert witness do exactly?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure at the different designations. There's a treating doctor, an expert, a retained expert, a non-retained expert, so that's way above my pay grade.
Understood. Okay, and in this case, to be able to offset some of the loss, you're charging $2,000 an hour to be here as an expert witness?
That's correct.
Did you review 85 pages of medical records of Imani Ellis prior to testifying today?
Yes.
Okay. And if you were to look at your exhibit book that's in front of you, the one on your right, if you can go to exhibit 1-004.
Yeah.
At the bottom corner, it will say exhibit 1-001, and then 2, 3, and 4.
I think the exhibits are over here.
Can I approach around?
Yes. Yeah, so it's actually the same. Ah, okay. I'm sorry about that.
Do you see a list of Imani Ellis's medical records and bills?
Yes.
And you reviewed all the records and bills?
Briefly, yes.
And for your treatment in your office, did you charge Miss Imani Ellis $6,500?
Yes.
Okay. And surgery center, $11,000?
Yes.
Why do you charge these amounts for the treatment that you gave for Imani Ellis?
Well, her procedures were performed in an operating room. So we have the operating room staff and sterility, and it's done in a JCO, meaning Joint Commission, approved surgery center.
Could you have done this outside of the surgery center?
You could have done it, but it wouldn't have been as sterile.
And you wouldn't follow that type of practice?
I don't do that. So,
All right. And in your review of the medical records, did you also see that Imani Ellis treated with 2 psychologists?
yes.
You reviewed all those records and bills?
Briefly, yes. Oh, yes, I see that.
Did you create this document?
No.
Is it correct that the total amount of charges in this case between you and your neosurgery center is $17,500?
Yes.
And I believe you testified earlier that $1,500
Get
That leaves a combined total of $16,000 for the 2 microneedling sessions. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's $8,000 per microneedling session.
Well, it was a surgery done in a surgery center with surgery staff, so it wasn't really a microneedling session. It was a surgery.
I'll move to strike this non-responsive.
Plaintiff. Please disregard the past response.
Your fee was $8,000. Scratch that. The combined total was $8,000 per microneedling session. Is that correct?
Do you mean just for the microneedling or for the preparation of the patient and the post-operative care of the patient? I'm not sure. I just don't understand your question.
Are you required to be a board-certified plastic surgeon to perform microneedling?
What kind of microneedling?
Do you recall testifying at your deposition that a nurse practitioner or physician's assistant can perform medical microneedling, the type of procedure that you performed in this instance?
Under certain circumstances and under the supervision of a physician, they would be allowed to perform that. But however, they would not be allowed to perform a surgery independently. So I don't want to conflate the two.
You also testified at your deposition that there's no particular formula that you used to calculate this $16,000 fee. Is that correct?
Well, it's based on my experience as a medical director for 25 years of what the usual and customary fees are for these procedures. So it's not just randomly chosen.
And is your testimony that the fee you charge is usual and customary in this community? Is that correct?
Yes.
You also testified earlier that the plaintiff was charged for your services on a lien basis. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And by a lien basis, do you agree that means that if the plaintiff wins this case and is awarded money, you have a right to collect your fees from the award?
Objection misstates the testimony of the witness.
Well, I don't believe that's what happens. I believe the patient owes the money for the services rendered, regardless of the outcome of the case. So it's not just if the patient wins, it's regardless of the outcome of the case.
Has Ms. Ellis paid you for your services today?
No.
Objection, that's an answer.
If Ms. Ellis had come to your office as a patient who didn't have a pending lawsuit and had the exact same procedure done and paid for it then, would you have charged less money than you charged in this case?
Well, there were many aspects of her presentation that would not be found in a typical cash-paying patient. For example, the hypersensitivity of her injury and the nature of her scarring. Those wouldn't be typically found in a cash-paying patient. So how can I equate the fees between someone who has injuries versus someone who comes in for cosmetic purposes?
You can't scratch that. Are you saying that there's no possible hypothetical in which the plaintiff could have come in and presented the same injury and not have been involved in a lawsuit and just paid you cash for your services?
Do you mean pay cash or pay cash 3 years later?
Paid cash.
On the spot?
Yeah.
Yes, they would probably have a discount of approximately 20%.
So in other words, you charge 20% more because this was on a lien basis.
Yes.
No further questions? Oh, sorry. One. No further questions.
All right, redirect.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Dr. Mulligan, you testified about the injury being caused by a right-handed person or left-handed person.
Objection, mischaracterizes the testimony.
Sustained.
Does it, well, strike that. Could this injury have been caused by a left-handed person?
Objection, lacks
I withdraw
foundation.
the question. In this case, the defendant is a left-handed person. Does that mean that she cannot have caused this injury?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation.
Sustained. Fine.
Counsel asked you whether this injury was caused by a right-handed person. Do you remember the question he asked you?
Yes.
I think he was asking what his testimony was.
Did counsel ask you about your testimony in the deposition that you gave on March 27th of 25?
Yes.
And during that testimony, counsel asked you and showed you a small segment of your deposition where you said that this injury was caused by a right-handed person. Do you remember saying that in your deposition?
I said most likely.
The fact that the person is, well, strike that. For example, I'm left-handed. If I take my right hand and I scratch somebody, is that possible?
Objection, lacks foundation, outside the scope.
Sustained.
When you said right-handed person, did you mean that the injury, in your opinion, as an expert, was caused by the right hand?
Objection,
Overruled.
No.
What did you mean?
Well, if it's on the left side of the face, the most likely explanation is that it was done by the right hand of the perpetrator, for want of a better word.
And
Just based on the positioning of one person, assuming one person was in front of the other.
And if you look at the perpetrator there,
objection, Your Honor.
or, I'm sorry, I withdraw that. If you look at the defendant, Cardi B sitting there, she has two hands, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
Take a look, doesn't she?
Objection, Your Honor. This-
Does the defendant have two hands?
You need to wait for the court to rule on that, the objection. The objection is overruled.
You can look. Please don't.
Yes, she has two hands.
All right. Cardi B, I will represent to you as left-handed. In your testimony at the deposition, if you were to take that the way that they want you to take that, it would be impossible for a Cardi B to have caused this injury.
Objection.
However, there's no question. The question is this: isn't it true that Cardi B, who's left-handed, could have used her right hand to scratch Imani Ellis on the date of the incident?
Objection, lacks foundation, outside the scope.
It's beyond the scope, counsel.
What's that, sir?
Is that objection sustained?
When you testified that it happened by a right-handed person, did you mean that the person actually writes with their right
Counsel,
hand?
he said it was most likely caused by them. That was his most likely explanation. He didn't say who caused it or how.
When you said most likely caused, did you mean it was caused by someone using their right hand, or the fact that they write with their right hand?
Objection, compound.
That's my question.
My apologies. Objection, compound, lacks foundation, outside the scope.
Overruled.
It doesn't matter. I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. It's just the left side of the face was scratched.
With the right hand.
Typically, if people are facing each other, it would be the right hand. It's hard to reach across with the left hand unless the person was standing to the side, which may or may not have happened. I don't know.
And in this case, the defendant could have used both of her hands to scratch Imani Ellis if she wanted to. Isn't that true?
Objection.
It's sustained. He's not a causation expert, I don't think, right?
No, this is.
Okay, so let's stop talking about causation.
Okay, sorry. When counsel asked you about microneedling, the fact that it takes 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 1 minute, that is the actual time that you're working on the patient's face when you're doing that procedure, correct?
Objection, mischaracterized.
Well, not really.
Overruled.
Yes, not really at all, because you can't just walk up to somebody and stick a needle in their face. You have to prep them. You have to make sure you're working on the right side of the face. You have to make sure your equipment is there. You have to make sure that the person is calm, that they're numb, that they've been numbed by topical agent, that they've been numbed by a needle with lidocaine in it, and the patient is comfortable. They're adequately protected against lumps and bumps on the exam room chair. So you can't just walk up to somebody and cut their face. You have to do all this preparation. That's part of the surgery. And it's part of the surgery after the surgery to make sure they don't have an allergic reaction or they don't have, welts resulting or a burn injury that is incurred. All those are part of the surgery. It's not just walking up and cutting someone in the face. Yes, the actual pressing of the button might take 3 minutes, but without the proper preparation or the proper follow-up, it's not a surgery.
And in this case, when you saw the patient on the 2 times on February 20th, 23, and March 20th, this was not a outpatient medical,
Objection. Sorry.
was this an outpatient? Oh, sorry, I withdraw that. This was an outpatient surgery, right?
Objection. Outside the scope.
Oh,
So a surgery means that you're in an operating room with a certain level of accreditation, and you have a scrum technician, and you have a registered nurse, and you have a doctor. So those are necessary for the procedure to be performed as it is. And that's very different from doing a cosmetic microneedling where the depth is 1/2 of a millimeter, not 2 millimeters. So 1/2 of a millimeter doesn't break the skin, it doesn't draw blood. But when it's 2 millimeters, that's as deep as the microneedling goes. That goes through the dermis and causes blood. So that's very different than a cosmetic microneedling. It's totally different. And it's done in a different setting. So you can't confuse the two. They may be called microneedling, but they're very different. One is a surgery, one is an outpatient procedure done for cosmetic purposes.
And for the two, if you can look at your exhibit book number 4 in the white binder,
Yes.
4-005 or 4-006, that's a 2-page document which says operative note.
Yes.
And if we go to the one before it, all straight. When you wrote the operative note, is that the same type of operative note you would write for other types of surgeries, such as breast augmentation or nose surgeries?
Objection. Irrelevant. Outside the scope.
assisting.
And back to the 3-minute question that you were asked earlier. From the 3 minutes, if we were to subtract the 3 minutes out of the whole procedure from the start to finish, how much time elapsed when Imani Ellis came to your office and left, if you understand the question?
Estimated at 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours?
Yes.
And you were required to use your operating room during those 2 to 3 hours?
Yes, the operating room or the recovery area.
And you used local anesthesia?
Use topical anesthesia first and then local anesthesia.
Okay, and the reason you charge 20% more for patients that are treated on a lien basis, is that because of the fact that you're required to wait for payment?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled.
Yes, 3 years. You have to wait 3 years.
Okay, and in this case, not only have you had to wait for 3 years, you also have to suffer the consequences of the fact that the bill was billed $4,000 less, according to your earlier testimony, times 2, correct?
Objection. Leading. Life foundation.
Assisting.
Earlier, you testified that your bills of $2,500 should have been billed at $6,500, is that correct?
That's correct. That's my fault. That's mine.
And
That's mine.
if the procedure is going to be done again, or at this time, if the same procedure was done, it wouldn't be $6,500, it would be $9,500?
Objection. Outside the scope.
Assisting.
And at this point, Ms. Imani Ellis owes you $17,500 for the 2 surgeries and the office visit that she had with you and all of the paperwork and reports that you've created related to this case.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
All right, recross.
Nothing here.
All right, any questions from the jury? Want to write those out? All right, some of these overlap, and so I'll try and combine them. Did you see any evidence of a scratch on the nose?
No.
Can you tell whether the scar that you examined was caused by jewelry?
It could have been. The most likely explanation, given the trajectory, is fingernails, but it could have been jewelry.
All right, can you offer an opinion as to the approximate age on the scar on her left cheek?
It's impossible to know because after roughly a year, the scar is mature, so it really wouldn't change very much, so you can't tell the age of the scar.
You used the term medical necessity, or I think it was asked during a question. What is your definition of medical necessity?
If the patient is likely to derive a benefit from a procedure, then you could say there is medical necessity, if they're likely to derive a benefit from it.
Generally, can a scar form without breaking the skin?
Yes, a scar can form by scrapes or by breaking the skin, either one. But it definitely can occur in superficial scratches.
So the court's going to ask its own follow-up with regard to that. So can you describe how a scar can, or what the difference is between an abrasion and actually breaking the skin?
So the skin has basically the epidermis, which is the recycling layer, and then the dermis, which is the thick layer. Most of the blood supply is in the subdermal plexus, just below the dermis. That's where the main blood supply is. So the bleeding typically happens most when that dermis is completely breached. So a laceration that went all the way through the epidermis, through the dermis, and down to the subdermal plexus, that would cause a lot of bleeding. But for example, when we harvest a skin graft, for example, in a burn patient, we go through the dermis. So we take a thin piece of the dermis, and it's a bloodless plane, meaning there's not a lot of bleeding when you go through the superficial dermis. But yet, we know that people who donate have a donor area for burns. That area can scar considerably, even though the dermis is never perforated. So yes.
I think you identified a scratch and then some additional scratches on the cheek. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is it your opinion that all of the scratches came from fingernails?
Well, that's the most likely scenario, given the patient's history. Could it have been a dwarf with sharp toes who jumped up? Possible, not likely. But it could have been most likely fingernails. But there are many other things that would leave 3 linear marks. But just given the patient's history, that's the most likely scenario.
And I'm going to just rephrase this question. Is it fair to say that when you agree to treat on a lien, you're deferring payment until the resolution of the pending litigation?
Yes. So we defer the patient paying the bill until the case is settled.
But it's fair to say that, at least according to the terms of the lien, that the patient is responsible regardless of the outcome of the litigation?
Yes, the patient is responsible for the bill.
All right, thank you. Plaintiff's counsel, do you have any follow-ups based on those questions?
Just one, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Do you have any evidence that this scar could be caused by a car accident? Any medical record, anything at all?
Objection.
A car accident?
Outside the scope of this designation.
I agree, but I'll allow the question.
I don't have any evidence, one way or the other.
Thank you.
All right, anything from the defendant?
Well, I don't believe so. Thank you.
All right, can this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Another witness?
Yes. Your Honor, plaintiff is calling Imani Ellis' mother as the next witness.
Does she have a name?
That's right. Ms. Schmidt, what's the first name? Leanne Schmidt.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Schmidt. Go ahead and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you.
Then came a voice only a mother could bring, the plaintiff's mom. She told the jury about the phone call she got right after the incident, her daughter shaken and in tears. She spoke about the trauma she's seen since that day and made it clear she believes her daughter's story.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Leanne Schmidt, Leanne, last name Shmidt.
Great. Thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch your seat.
All right, go ahead, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Schmidt.
Good morning.
You are Imani Ellis' mother?
Yes, I am.
You gave birth to her, correct?
I did.
She's not adopted, is it?
No, she's not.
Okay. And how many kids do you have?
I have a total of 5 kids.
She's the first?
Imani is the eldest.
Did she live with you up until a certain period of time?
She lived with me from the time she was born until she was age 19.
Okay. Did Imani Ellis, during her time with you from 0 to 19, ever have one fight in her life?
Never.
Did she ever assault and batter anybody?
Never.
Did she ever hit anybody?
Never.
Scratch anybody?
Never.
Did anyone hit Imani Ellis in those 19 years?
Never.
Fine. And as far as, are you aware of the facts of this case?
Yes, I am.
And what is your understanding of it? Why are we here today?
Objection, hearsay.
Assisting.
Do you have any information about an assault and battery that occurred to Imani Ellis?
Objection, hearsay. Last foundation.
Counsel, unless she was there.
Were you there?
I was not,
Were you there in spirit?
of course.
Okay. What is your understanding about your daughter's profession in 2018? What was her profession, to your understanding?
Objection, hearsay. Last foundation.
I'm not sure what this is going on, so I'll let you move on.
Was Imani Ellis a security guard from 2014 to 2018?
Yes, she was.
And how do you know that?
Objection, hearsay.
Okay.
Last foundation.
You may answer.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Was Imani Ellis a security guard from 2014 to 2018?
Yes, she was.
And how do you know that?
I was there when she went on her interview, not physically there, but she did notify me of the interview, and she notified me of her hire date.
And was her plan to continue in security and law enforcement?
Objection, hearsay.
Counsel, why don't we move on to what she knows, not what she was told?
Do you know if Imani Ellis was interested in being a police officer in the future?
Same objection.
Sustained.
Did you notice some changes in Imani Ellis after this incident of February 24th, 2018?
Yes, I did.
What were the changes that you noticed?
I noticed changes in terms of a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and just her general well-being has changed dramatically.
Were you advised, we'll strike that. Did you notice after the incident that Imani Ellis had a scar to her face?
I did.
And where was the scar?
The scar was located on the left side of her face.
And after she left your home when she was 19, when the incident occurred, she was approximately 25 years old, correct?
She was, yes, correct.
So in those 6 years where she didn't live with you full time, how far away was she, and did you see her on a regular basis?
Objection, compound.
I would see her probably maybe 2 to 3 times a week. We would visit frequently, yes.
Okay. And in those 25 years, did Miss Imani Ellis ever, to your knowledge, sustain a scar on her left or anywhere on her face?
Yes, she did sustain that scar. I visibly saw it myself.
No, I understand, but my question is, aside from the incident, I guess the question what I want to know is, do you have knowledge if Miss Imani Ellis, your daughter, sustained this scar from somewhere else?
Objection.
Something else outside of this incident?
No.
Do you have any information
So,
for that?
if there's an objection, please let me rule on it. The objection's over.
So your understanding is that the scar to her face was caused from this incident?
Objection, Lax Foundation calls for speculation and hearsay.
Sustained.
How do you know that the scar was to your daughter's face was caused by this incident?
Objection,
She
lady, and the same other please.
Overruled.
You can answer.
She did notify me and called me right after the incident, telling me that she had been scratched in the face and spit on.
Okay. How long after the incident did you go and see your daughter?
She
When did she
actually,
come to you?
she actually came to visit me, I believe, later that day.
Okay. Did she look upset? Was she crying? What happened?
She was hysterical, upset, crying, just upset throughout the whole situation.
And was your daughter a fan of Cardi B before this incident?
Absolutely.
Lax Foundation, hearsay.
Sustained.
Were you a fan of Cardi B before this incident?
Yes, I was.
Are you a fan of Cardi B now?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
When you said that your daughter was spit on, did your daughter tell you that? Did you see that? How did you learn
She
that?
called her mischaracterizes the testimony and calls for hearsay and Lax Foundation.
Aside from, I'll start that. Are you aware if your daughter had any car accidents?
Objection, calls for hearsay. Hearsay and Lax
I withdraw the
Foundation.
question. Were you advised that your daughter had a car accident in 2021 and 2023?
Objection, hearsay and Lax Foundation.
Sustained.
Do you know if your daughter sustained injuries in any car accidents?
Objection, Lax Foundation.
Sustained.
Earlier, you testified that your daughter had contacted you after the incident, did she call you over the telephone?
She did.
And the incident, do you believe she called you?
I would say about 30 minutes after she called.
Could it have been a shorter time?
Objection, call for speculation.
Assistant.
Could it have been a longer time?
Objection, speculation.
How did you come up with 30 minutes?
Based on around the time that she called, it was like a little bit after, right away after the incident. And so my speculation is 30 minutes.
And when she called you, was she crying? Was she yelling? What was she doing?
She was hysterically crying, upset, just overall just could barely get it out. She was so upset over the ordeal.
Well, what did she tell you?
Objection. Hearsay.
Just so we're clear, your daughter is now 32?
Correct.
In these 32 years, have you seen your daughter fight physically with anybody?
Not one fight, not even in school.
Okay. Earlier, you testified that Imani Ellis was spit on. Where did you learn that information?
Objection.
Assistant.
Sorry.
Have you ever seen Cardi B before today?
On television,
How many times?
too many to count.
More than 5?
Yes.
More than 50?
Objection, relevance.
Assistant.
When you saw her in television, isn't it true that her nails are always very long?
Objection, lacks foundation, calls for speculation, and relevant.
Assistant.
If you look at the defendant now, you see her fingernails?
Yes.
Would you consider those short, long, or medium fingernails?
Objection.
Short.
Lacks foundation.
When you saw Cardi B, did she ever have fingernails that size?
No, they were always very long,
How long?
2 to 3 inches long.
So what you see now is not normal, correct?
Correct.
No further questions.
All right, promise.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Schmidt, just a few questions. You love your daughter, right?
Absolutely.
And you're here to help her, right?
Yes.
And you believe her.
Yes.
And you believe her even if you don't need evidence to believe her, do you?
I believe her.
Okay. Were you aware that when this happened, 2 days after the alleged incident, that your daughter wrote her boss and admitted yelling and cursing, yelling at Cardi?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Objection, hearsay.
Are you aware that your daughter, in an incident report to her boss 2 days after the alleged incident, admitted to her boss, to her supervisor, that she had gotten into a screaming match with Cardi and had yelled at Cardi?
Objection, misstates the document.
Assistant.
Are you aware that your daughter apologized to Allied for her misconduct that day?
Objection, misstates the document.
Are you aware of that, ma'am?
I was not involved in that conversation, so no, I was not aware of that.
And were you aware that in her report to her boss 2 days after the incident, she instead claimed that Cardi had scratched your daughter's nose?
Again, I was not a part of that conversation, nor email or text, so I do not know.
Okay. All the questions I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Redirect.
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, I don't have any questions.
All right, any questions from the jury? All right, can this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's where Day 2, Part 3 wrapped. The jury heard from the doctor and the plaintiff's mother, but this story is far from finished. Up next, the stand belongs to 2 new voices: the plaintiff's grandmother, ready to share her perspective, and the therapist who's been treating the emotional fallout. The courtroom's about to get even more personal. Stay tuned. This trial's just warming up.
All right, thanks for coming down, man.
Thank you.
Hey.
Plug talk.
You're looking at the
You
plug.
understand how the fuck my plug talk?
Ooh, you know I got it.
Brought to you by Daily Plug,
Yeah.